Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Midweek Banter. We're here with Jake, and it's been a cracker so far. Lots of talking points, lots of controversy, lots of confronting, and hopefully that theme continues. And a few challenges have been laid down too. But now it's time for this.
And you don't stop.
Cause it's 187 on an undercover car.
Yeah, and you don't stop.
And that means it's time for our teammate section. So we're going to be asking Jake about his experiences with different players at Bushy, and
a lot of them.
This is going to be interesting. And again, what we appreciate about Jake is that no punches are pulled. There's no dressing there's no sugarcoating the truth. He'll tell you how it is. So hopefully, let's see what we get out of it. So you ready, Jake?
Well, now you've given me license. Yeah, it's going to be bad now. I was going to be polite to it about everyone first, but
No. We like the non-censored, the non-edited one. That's the cold hard facts. Here we go. So teammates from everyone that you've ever played with, and ones that everyone would know. Hardest worker.
oh Jesus! I tell you what, like I think someone was talking about Bran the other day, and I disagreed. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Azza, but it might not have been actually. And they were saying about Bran, right? Like, there's two different types of Bran. There's Bran when he's like head on the game in the zone, and then there's Bran when he's chung and he's just like he's useless. Like that first 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes of any game when he's running around with a zoot literally in his hands, I want to punch the guy. But like when he's actually in game mode, he like you can't work him. Like he is relentless, and that's like to the point though. Like he's now honed it, so he's actually positionally disciplined as well. Whereas kind of historically, not just Bran, but like you get a lot of hard workers who are just running, but not actually running in a sensible, like positional way, right? But I think Bran's honed that really well recently. I'll tell you what though, like when I'm getting marked by Ims, it's always hard work to lose him. He's very disciplined to marking.
Yeah.
So like you can't shake him as easy as others. So he like, and again, it's a credit to him, but like he won't ball watch and he'll actually stick to his man, which makes it real hard. So like, again, in terms of like, sometimes I'll just be like, I'm going to outrun you and I'm just going to lose you by just being fitter than you. Like Ims will keep up with you. So I'll give, it'd be Bran or Ims in terms of hardest workers in that sense, I'd say.
It's hard to disagree with those ones. Anything else?
I was about to say, are you two saying your own as well, yeah?
Unless Sam's got new questions, I've done mine the other week, I think, anyway. But
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, who said yours? Who did you go for?
I haven't kind of given my thought to my exact answer for each one, but it's more of I can see where, like when we asked Addy about it, we didn't get to kind of ask him this one, unfortunately. But when I've asked Addy about it and we're asking you about it, I can definitely see your points. And I think I'll probably agree. Unless I'm disagreeing, then otherwise I think I'll keep my opinion out of it. And then I'm sure Azza will turn the questions on me one day. So
Yeah, you're staying partial for now.
I have to, doing the anchorman role. Okay. So who would you say is the quickest player at midweek?
Okay. I think like we've got to obviously keep it to like the current regulars, right? So like it's got to be from out of everyone that's coming. And I think undoubtedly on his day, like Z toasts everyone. Like there's no doubt about it. Like if Z can get the ball in the halfway line and still go around the outside of players, like it's just insane. Oh yeah, when he's cutting across, it's even worse because he literally can just knock the ball around you. So I think Z undoubtedly is the quickest. I think it'd be different if you did like pound for pound quickest. So I think like Hardick's actually rapid on feet, but like for context of like size and shape, like he's actually quite quick as well, like deceivingly quick.
Yeah. He reminds me a little bit of Aguero sometimes because like even though considering size and shape, Aguero, maybe not so much more now that Aguero is older, but especially in his earlier days, Aguero was quite quick for a little something there.
I think as well, Hardick's just got like that intensity is the wrong word. Like he can just suddenly just do something. Like it can be his body, it can be the ball, his feet. Like everything can be done. Like he can go from like 0 to 60 like that. And like that's half the problem, isn't it? Like you can't always react to it because he's already done it. So I think he's dead quick in that sense. I think, yeah, like out and out, it's got to be Z. But I think Azza's waiting for me to say if it's him or Abs as well, who's slower.
I have no question, but I am waiting.
So, like, I will say one thing. Abs, you never see Abs running. And, like, I don't know if that's because he's positionally aware and he knows where he's always the right place, or he just, like, he'll always make sure he's never the one that takes after the ball. So I think he'll be exposed in a sprint test.
See, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if he's got it in his locker or whether, yeah, like you said, because again, he's got good positioning, so we don't see him run a lot. So
that's the nice way of saying it. You could just say he's lazy, but like I've never had to see the guy sprint or like surge. Like he's always just in position. So
I'm actually more excited to see the race than I am for the first week of football back.
I just know I can already see there's going to be like we have to have someone like a camera on the line. It's going to be like it's going to be such a close finish. I can already call it
a photo finish. And just out of interest, you're saying with the current players, you would say Z is the quickest. But then, did you have kind of like a different answer in mind there of other people? That
I think Connor's been mentioned previously, and I don't think it's fair to include people like him just because a great player as he is, like. I don't think, obviously, he's not a regular, like current regular to like include. So I think he would be like best dribbler, best quickest player, best feet. But like, it's not fair to like use him when he's not around. So
yeah, he's been injured for quite a while, hasn't he, Besson? So
yeah, he's not the senior, is he?
Still injured, the poor boy. Not played for a long while now.
That's a real loss to our game as well. But yeah, then we can. Well, hopefully, once he's back, we can continue the whole who's better, Messi or Connor debate. But we'll I remember that was trending for a while. It was like Connor is greater than Messi, and it was that was going for quite a while. So then, yeah, you kind of introduced yourself. So you said who's the quickest, who's the slowest.
Oh yeah, no. So I think Again, it's hard to judge Abs because actually, I think again, I need to see him fully running. And like, he makes you slower. Like that's the clever thing with someone like Abs. Like there's a couple that do actually. Like Wowji's quite similar in that sense. Like they use their body well, so that even if you are quicker, you can't use it against them. So they're quite good at that sense. Slowest out of everyone though. I should have thought more about it. I don't want to say you, Azza, but I'm thinking I know how quick you are or you aren't, and I'm trying to think if anyone else is slower than that. Although this might rile him up, though. This might be what he needs to do that Usain Bolt chicken wing improvement of speed to Abs. I don't know if Rishi's that fast either, is he?
You know what? Since Rishi's done his ankle as well, obviously, and obviously he was out for a long while with his back and bad backup. I can't remember the last time I've had to see him do a full sprint either. He's changed. Yeah. He's changed to what it was. So I couldn't tell you at the moment now either.
So what I've seen of Rish, like he loves the ball on the run, but he'll be like he will love to position his body in between the ball and the man. So like he never actually has to run onto it. He's already got it, and he just takes it past them. So he's never actually like sprinting or running for it. So
he's someone else who's a strength.
Before the injuries, and anyone that didn't know him beforehand would maybe be surprised now. He was quick, or you know what I mean. He weren't slow. Put it that way.
Yeah. But no, it doesn't seem slow. But I think because I never see him running fast, and he's always slow with ball. I think that's probably what it is. But
yeah. So what's your final answer?
Oh, you're pinning me on this one. It's only because I don't really have an answer, but I guess I would love to. If I was in a race, I'd love to go up against Azza if it was a straight foot race, Shafi if it was on the turn. Shafi on the turn all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a weird Azza Shafi blend there for that answer though.
I think Shafi can run quite quick when he's doing it straight, but he turns like a London bus, so we're okay in that sense. He's going to hate me for that, isn't he? I'm going to hear that the rest of the week about that comment. He's going to do a 5-paragraph summary about that.
That's why I'm trying to drag it out of you. Like, I'm just waiting for it.
Yeah, true. You've set it up. We're going to have the biggest paragraph, bigger than the one last week.
I love it. I love it. It's my bedtime reading. Like I go to sleep and I don't like.
Mate, it's got so excessive. There was like 4,000 messages the other day when I came to my phone. I was like, obviously it's quite easy to click on the apps, like the ones that are your name tags. But like apart from that, there was a lot that got missed. And then obviously the pictures are quite funny because they're easy to like catch on a glimpse. But I probably missed a lot of like banter and a lot of insults.
Yeah, 100%.
Who would you say is the hard man of the Wednesday group?
I think Wowgy fancies himself, doesn't he? Wowgy loves like a shoulder to shoulder. Like, do you know what? I'll never forget the time. This is me, obviously, like from my perspective. I like shouldered him, and he just bounced off the barrier. Like he fell, and his shoulder and head just cracked off the wall.
Oh,
and I felt so bad about it, and it was like an honest challenge. Like, there was nothing in it, but like the way he felt, I felt awful. And then like
I can't remember it. I remember it. That was a bad one, mate.
The problem with Wowge, he's the same as me. Like he loves it, so he goes looking for the shoulder to shoulder. And someone like Ryan, I think the next week, like Wowge went for it just to like vent it and like reinforce himself. And Ryan just like took a side step and moved out the way of it, and so Wowge went flying again. So like, I don't want to get in a tussle with him if I can avoid it, but like I think like you can get the better of him, like just by positioning yourself a little bit smarter. But I think Abs is a fucking a tough cookie. Like to like tackle wise, he's strong in the tackle, and like he's just like he's got a low centre of gravity. It's like a solid mass. So like you can't really like shake him off the ball, or like if he's a touch tight to you, it's hard to get away from him as well. So like he's definitely in that sense one of the harder ones.
I feel like you're answering it like who's the strongest or the toughest in the group, but I feel, especially when they do this stuff on Soccer AM, like who's like the hard man, the one that would be like a bit more reckless and a bit more kind of like...
Probably Roscoe then. Probably Roscoe, like someone who intentionally goes onto the pitch with both his boots undone, like will play the game with his laces undone and not give a shit. There's something up there not quite right.
That's the answer we're looking for.
But also, you'll just like again, like I'll come off some weeks with like black and blue shins. I just know that Roscoe doesn't even think about it. Like he has just got like that. Like he'll kick you through the wall. Like he doesn't mind. He wouldn't even feel it. So
yeah, that's more the answer we were looking for. Fantastic. How about best with their feet, the most skillful player?
In Ims, definitely Shafi and Ims. So Shafi complaining about how his toes are so poor and bad every week, and Ims when he and Shanu come to like they touch each other like a feather, and then they both complain and bitch about each other.
Yeah, we talked to Ims about that, didn't we? And he said there's nothing really in it. It's all gets left on the pitch. But I don't know how much I believe him on that one.
Yeah. Ims is fantastic for a tackle, but like if you did the same back on him, he would hate it. Absolutely hate it. As Shanu displays.
Okay, so I think we got our wires crossed a little bit there. I think the connection was messing with us, but we're on to most skillful now. Who you say is most skillful?
I think Z is like he's got the best tricks in his book, like, and you don't see them as much these days. I think obviously recent form as well. He's been in golf, bless him, but I think like the one that does me every time is Z probably, like because I'll go flying in like a fucking idiot, and he'll always spin me, and like I get nuts more by him than anyone else, and that's not even like licking his arse. Like he can do it. He can pull it off effortlessly, and you don't always see it from him because I think his game is actually more just like he knows that you can just outrun him to get a shot off. He doesn't need to do the tricks. But and I remember when I first started playing like a couple of years ago, he did it a lot more unnecessarily, and it wasn't as effective. And now he's like refined. He just does it a little bit less, but more effectively when it matters. Yeah, I think he's definitely one of the most skillful. I think like Hardick necessarily doesn't have as many tricks, but if you have Hardick on like a one-on-one, or like he has a defender that he has to get round or beat to get a shot off, again, second to none. Yeah. So I think one of those two for sure.
We're seeing some patterns emerging here with some of the answers we're getting from different guests, and I'm sure that goes the same for Az's list as well.
Oh, can I just clarify? This is only because I thought I couldn't say my name. I would literally be this is a skillful hardman, best shot, runner. I'm by far the quickest as well. Like I will foot race anyone except Z, and I will dust them. Like, right now.
But you know you can put your own name for some of these, right?
Yeah, I know, but that just looks like such a dickhead thing, innit? Like the first person who names himself for like a good thing, you're in trouble. You're gonna get it in the group.
I swear, Addy did it.
What did he say it for?
I think he put himself. He put himself as one of the categories. I can't remember what it was.
If he ranked himself number one for something, I would have to call him out on it. But I can't remember him calling him. I don't remember him naming himself number one. Like I wouldn't say I am the fastest, but I'm definitely faster than pretty much 95% of the group. I'd say.
He put himself down for the longest in the shower, didn't he?
Oh,
yeah, but come on, he's playing a race card there, surely. Like no evidence to suggest. There's no evidence to suggest it whatsoever. Like
we'll never know. We'll never know.
Well. As a team, so like, I think Azza might be able to give us a little bit of an insider info. No,
well, he has long preparation time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was about to say longest shit doesn't make it longest in the shower, though.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next one. How about footballing IQ, most intelligent?
That's a good one because I'm trying to not wear my 11s cap, right? Because, again, as I said, like some of us have come from 11s background. I've been playing since I was 4 years old, so my IQ is actually naturally, like by just pure numbers of years, going to be higher than most who haven't. Definitely. But I think, like, if you put it on 7s level, I think someone like Hardick has a lot better IQ than people give him credit for, even though undoubtedly he's like a top player and everyone rates him. I think like Hardick's put himself. When I first started playing like years ago, I think Hardick wasn't as regular as he is now. I remember the first time I played with him, I thought, "Fucking hell, why have we got this guy at left back?" He was literally playing left back. I was like, "This guy's the best player in our team," and he's just been stuck on. He literally was hugging the wall the whole game, and I thought he was so wasted there. Like the guy could bang, he like solid, like never put a foot wrong, and yeah, I can't even remember what the question was, but I was just nicking Hardick's ass.
You would say his footballing IQ is for 7s.
Yeah. So like, I think in 7 sense, like positionally, like I think I hate to see Hardick in his own half because he's just wasted. But then the problem is he's always put on a team, and again, not to toot my own horn, but like me, he'll be the one player on the opposition team, like the best player of the weaker team, and I think Hardick a lot of the time will get expected to do a lot, and so he'll be put up on his own, and he'll have to like run the show on his own kind of thing. Yeah. But when you see him with like anyone like a Harvey or a Z alongside him, or even me, like I love playing with him just because you just know you're guaranteed goals. You know he understands what you're about to do, and also if you have the ball, you know if you make the right run, he'll find you and he'll pick you out, or like he'll open up space for you and stuff. And again, like the guy never breaks a sweat. Like again, it's just a sign of being in the right place at the right time. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Like
there's working hard and then there's working smart, and he definitely works smart, doesn't he?
Hardick works smart, man. Like, again, I don't think he hasn't got an engine, but he wouldn't even need an engine because he's never like I've never seen him run as well. Do you know what I mean? Like he's just always in a sensible position. Like he's always in space. He always opens his body up. Like I can't remember really him using his left foot very much, but because he doesn't have to, because he always manipulates it onto his right every time. Like, he's fantastic.
And with the same breath, the least intelligent?
I don't know. So when I joined, again, like Ims was I thought was quite like far behind everyone else, and so I loved having him on my team though because as again, like I was saying, like defensively very sound, but I think in the last few years he's come on and he is leaps and bounds from where I remember, and so his IQ is I think grown a lot. And again, like I remember like Shafi aside, like me and him used to have quite a few disagreements about tactically what to do on a pitch, and it's not necessarily about positions. It was more kind of just like the mentality of how to defend or attack as a team, or keep the lead, or defend the goal, or keep the ball. And I think like naturally, not even having to agree with what I think, but like naturally just seeing how to like game manage a situation. I think he's evolved and he's come on leaps and bounds in that sense. So I would have said Ims. What was it Kaz? Or was that his brother? Who's the guy who used to play with us? And he had his brother who. Pardon?
Saj.
Was it
United
Saj?
top. And his brother's Kaz.
Was it? Yeah. I thought for someone who was so good, he was just like lacking the understanding of where to be and what to do. And so, and again, do you remember how fit he was? He had a ridiculous engine on him, and like, but he never was in the right place. I felt, and like he was fantastic, like technically good, like could do everything, but he just didn't understand. I think he was just like, it was just play football. He didn't really think about like everything else around it.
Yeah. And I think when you kind of, again, for a few of them, especially the original boys who used to play Sundays before it became midweek, we weren't boys who were maybe chosen for teams or had coaching or in Sunday teams. So we never had the chance to. We were playing recreationally, so we never got the chance to kind of develop that footballing IQ. So So
I love it though. So like, obviously being a manager, but again, it sounds like I'm a bit patronising, but like I love like not coaching. I love like explaining stuff to you guys so you can see it from my point of view, and then like it makes my enjoyment of the game easier because everyone's playing on the same kind of like telepathy. Yeah. And I think like one of my other mates, so not someone that we play with, but one of my other mates is similar. He said that like when you come and play with us, like your explanation of how to do things kind of changes the way that everyone plays, but like in a beneficial way. Like it doesn't necessarily mean we win by more or do anything. It's just more enjoyable because you actually play with a bit more cohesiveness and a bit more of a structure. And again, like you know when we walk to the pitch and you see like the Asian group that are like on the pitch next to us, or the Eastern European lot, and it's just like, do what you fucking want, boys.
Yeah. And
it's just like, it looks like 15 kids all just running after the ball, doesn't it? Or they get too lazy and everyone just stands a certain zone of the pitch so they don't have to run around.
Yeah.
Whereas our game is like really fluid. It moves up and down the pitch, across, side to side. Like everyone's positionally a lot more aware. I think it's really evolved in the last few years since I've come on. And like again, like you boys have said it previously, like the level's gone up, but it's not necessarily the ability level; it's the intelligence level of everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
agree with that.
the game, actually, like the games become closer and closer, and like the goal margin gap comes closer and closer every couple of months, like every year.
Yeah. No, because what I wanted to say is 100%, because obviously doing the same Sundays as well, like I know exactly where you're coming from, and I see it as coaching, but explaining as well, like you said. Like, but I do see it as a coaching thing, and it gives me satisfaction, mate, and I enjoy doing it. So I know what you're saying with that, and I think the terms with where other people's abilities have gone up, whereas before, like when I come in, for instance, we might have had one or two of us who maybe might have been a better understanding than others. But now when we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's a couple on one side, a couple on the other, because I know for a fact a lot of people talk to me about Imsy and saying like Jake helped him out quite a lot, like specifically Jake, because for whatever reason Jake just happened to be in his team most weeks, and where Jake gets his point across quite well, like I think that's where certain players are getting better. And like Jake said, I don't think it's the fact of he's magically passing the ball any better, but he's understanding of what he should be doing and where he should be and what's happening in the game. In certain moments, the game's got better. So I think that's where the levels come up, where we've had certain people come in at different times to add to it, and then certain players who are willing to listen and willing to take it on board have got better as well.
Yeah.
But as well, while we're on the subject, like, would you, like, I weren't knocking no one as well, but would you agree, Jake, coming from where, you know what I mean, we both run Sunday teams and that, would you agree what I was trying to say the other week, which maybe I didn't get across too well as well, is the fact that there is only a handful where that IQ and the knowledge is only really high from a handful of us, so really. Oh, we've lost him, as we've
lost.
Go. Man, try to say he's better than me. Tell my man, shut up. Mention my name in your tweets. I rude boy, shut up. Better than me? Shut up. Best in the scene. Tell my man, yo, couple man call me a backup dancer on stage at the Brits. I'm a backup dancer.
And he's back in.
Sorry, boys. Absolute killer.
No. all good.
Don't It's all right. We'll run with it.
With the magic
the
event.
other person I was give a shout out for was Shanu. So like, in a similar sense to Ims, but not at the same time. Like, I think his one was also big in terms of like when I came along. Shanu was like, he was up top and he was also always seemed isolated and like obviously not the biggest engine, not the fastest guy. Actually, yeah. By the way, Shanu's definitely the slowest out of everyone. Just remembered him, but I think like I loved playing with him because I knew that like I could just use him as a wall to bounce off and like he could get in positions where he could just you could 1-2 with him, you could play off him, like he could hold the ball up, he could relieve pressure. And as long as you don't expect him to do the marking, the tracking, the defensive work, like he is so effective. I think the problem was when I first came along, people considered him like as a problem to have in the team, which is a bit weird because he was actually the one that helped me get the most goals because you could just literally play off him and work with him so well. I love playing with Shanu, and I think like again like it's a shame he hasn't been as regular in the last year or so, I'd say. And also he wears jeans and turns up to the pitch but not ready. I hate it. What's wrong with the boy? But yeah, like I love playing with Shanu, and I think he's someone that's like it's not necessarily even him. It's people know how to use him better now, and like have found out how effective he can be if you use him properly.
Yeah. Now, well, quick one. I don't know where you got cut out, Jake, but I was going to say the first thing I said was I totally get where you was coming from in terms of obviously doing the same thing on the Sundays because I also love, like, you know, when you're explaining something. But I see it as coaching, Jake. I don't know about you, but I see it as coaching even if you're just explaining stuff. And I get a lot of satisfaction.
Better words. Yeah.
Yeah. And I get a lot of satisfaction from it. I enjoy it. And like you said, it enlarges the fucking enjoyment out of the game in that. But also, I said, like, people mentioned it to me, like you specifically in terms of Imsy, because for whatever reason you was on his side quite often. I think they're saying you yourself specifically helped Imsy out a lot in terms of the way how you express things and that. And I was saying to Sam before you got cut off, is I think the likes of adding in you and others, whereas before we might have had 2 or 3 players, and then obviously if we're playing with certain players quite a lot of the weeks, not everybody's getting that sort of thing, where there's more of us now and it's quite even, and then you've got someone who's willing to tell people, you know, certain things week in, week out. And then if you've got someone like who's actually willing to listen and take it on board, like you said, that's where the improvement is. He ain't magically passing the ball any better than what he was. But it's the intelligence of what he's doing, where he's got to be, and certain things in the game. And I think that's where the level's been raised year in, year.
I think like it's funny though, right? Because like obviously I've got that rep of like I don't know if I have got the rep, but like I've got the impression that I have a rep of like being a hothead who like loses his cool as soon as like things aren't working. I shout at everyone, and I think I do that a lot worse now because I think my expectations of everyone's gone up. Yeah. So like historically, I wouldn't be so bothered if we conceded a goal from like slack marking, but like now I almost expect everyone to know to mark. And again, the worst thing is I'm just as culpable as everyone else. Like I can be that lazy fucker. I can be the one who's lost his man. I can be the one who's missed the goal, whatever. Yeah. But like, just because like my standards have gone up, like I kind of treat everyone as peers. Whereas when I came in, I was a bit not snobby, but like in my head, I was like, I've got the better understanding of this, and like so I don't get as angry because I don't expect as much from them. But now I think we're all on the same par, and I think everyone like is culpable. And so I have Barney's so many people, and it's just kind of like basic stuff that like again wasn't natural to you or necessarily even me like 2-3 years ago. It's stuff that everyone should be on par with now, and like, I think that's a good thing. Again, it sounds snobby of me, I think, but I think that's everyone's come to a higher level, and so like the competitiveness in the games are better for it.
No, I don't feel it's a snobby thing to say because again, you're coming from a more experienced background and you're coming to players who are casual players in comparison to you, who's a competitive player.
I'm exactly the same with my 11-a-side team as well. Don't worry. So it's not personal to you, boys. No, exactly. I shout and moan at all the fuckers.
Exactly, and to be honest, the way you've described it, for me anyway, I take it as a compliment. The fact that you expect it of us now, because it means that our intelligence and our understanding of the game has improved. So you expect it of us. So in a way, I feel that it's quite complimentary.
Sorry, Sam. Just a real quick one, because obviously this has been a subject the last couple of weeks. So, Jake, I wanted to ask you real quick as well. Like, I weren't knocking anybody, and I think people were thinking it was meant in the terms of they're not good players or whatever the case is. But did you see where I was coming from? I do feel like, and I'll probably stand by it, even though it probably was taken the wrong way, but I still stand by the fact is, and do you agree, is because of our backgrounds and what we do and that, would you say there is only a handful of us who have that maybe next level of understanding, like not knocking the others, but, you know, a lot of them are playing catch up, if you like.
Yeah, no, I think like undoubtedly, like you've got to say that. Like, I mean, I've been playing football now for 29, 28 years. Like, you're probably not far off, like you boys yourselves. And again, like just listening to I think Ims's pod straight first week was really good because it kind of actually put things in perspective for me. Like, he didn't grow up playing in the football in the playground like like lunchtime like we did. Like, he, you know, from the ages of like 8 to 25, 26, I was playing football 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah. So like, it's just like, regardless of how shit you are, you actually just get good, or you get like understanding. So again, my body might not be willing, but my mind's always going to have it. And that's half the frustration actually of being a manager, is like, actually, you can read the game better than you can play it now. So that's my problem. And then that's the thing. So it's only natural that, like, actually, like, regardless of whose team I'm on, how bad we're winning or losing, like, I'll always still see something that could be done differently from my own game, but also everyone else's. And it's so much someone else doing something wrong, then have a go yourself. But you hear, I fucking shout and scream at myself all the time for doing something wrong, or even when we score a goal, I'll be angry at myself if I've done something wrong in the build-up to it, or I haven't scored the perfect shot, because I know that I can do better. And the IQ does, again, that's where you're right. Like, the IQ comes from, like, just because you've done something right doesn't mean it's the right way in the grander scheme, or like, just because you defended a goal doesn't mean you're doing it the right way. Like, there's loads of other, you could go really deep into it, right? But like, I think, again, like, and again, we've mentioned his name, Ims, like, he's a perfect example of someone who has, like, less years experience, so naturally has less understanding, and me imparting my wisdom or my experience onto him, as you say, well, you said made a difference and has improved his game. And I think he's improved, not necessarily directly because of me or indirectly because of me, but he has. And again, he could have just improved just because of experience of years, right? Like, more experience playing in a competitive game. And again, so I think the IQ is different, and like, my understanding of space and movement and stuff is far advanced from other people's, because other people haven't ever played an 11s game, or haven't ever played a high intensity 7s game. So I got a frog in my throat. I don't know how you boys do this without drinking so much water. Sam, I never see you drink water, I swear. I'm already dying. But like, I love the thought that, like, and so that was what I was talking about Hardik earlier. Like, I love the thought of, like, I know that Hardik doesn't, just because I'm running alongside him, he knows he doesn't have to give the ball to me. He knows that I can kind of be the overlap and run for the next pass. And I don't think everyone has that mindset sometimes, which isn't natural. It's something that I had to learn as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the same with getting a shot off. Like, I know sometimes that my shot in the front post isn't effective, and so I'll have to put it across goal, or it'll just throw a dummy or whatever. Some people just think, oh, I've got the ball, I'm going to kick it at the goal because I can see the goal. Like, it's different understanding, because it's different levels of experience and different, like, if you've been in a situation 100 times compared to 4 times, you're going to be a lot more prepared to deal with it, right? It's just natural. Yeah. So I agree with you in that sense. But again, the wider conversation of what football IQ is or how it is used could be, it's never ending. It's up for interpretation by each individual, isn't it? So. Yeah, no. Actually, that's the biggest thing that upsets me, because obviously we've had C come in last year that joined the Sunday team, and because we was meant to merge with a team and a lot of things happened, I won't go into it, but we never had the chance to work with C properly because we had the lack of training all year as well, and now this has happened. And my main worry about going back to this season is, are we going to get any like pre-warning, and, you know, what sort of pre-season are we going to get, etc., etc. So, yeah, just an off subject that come onto my head, that we've not been able to work with C as much since he's joined the team. So, yeah, anyway, I don't know why. But it's in my head. Z, we can be working with you as soon as we can, mate. Where do you play? Do you play Z up top? The first friendly we did, because when we kind of got what happened together a pre-season, we had no time to train, Jake, so we were straight into friendly sort of thing. So, yeah, sure.
we kind of been working with it, and like half the team was quite new, so we started him there. Then we started him just off the two front men, and actually the energy and the stamina he's got, to be fair, and that little bit of trickery, we found him either mainly at the 10 or just in the midfield. And so, to be fair, with Rossi, which worked out all right, to be fair. So.
Well, I was going to say, like, I think he would be a tricky prospect in an 11-a-side game, just because, like, undoubtedly he'd be great, like, in behind front man kind of thing. But like a centre back on a Sunday League level would just kick lumps out of him, put him in the air. And like, Aziz could take it, obviously, but like, I think the problem with that is that actually Sundays would actually be easier to pocket him. And again, he's so quick, he could get away from you if you give him a chance. But I think a wise defender would be able to kind of like, again, it's like, you know, how many times he skins me when I'm playing defence, but like on a bigger pitch with like a second man who can absolutely clamp you coming in, like I think it's a different prospect. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see actually where his best position on a Sunday.
He took to it quite well actually, but yeah, it was so rushed and stuff. We're not been able to do much with him, and a lack of training as well this year. But yeah, anyway, just the off subject, I thought I'd mention.
Wasn't that such a manager's like post game like statement?
Yeah,
like, we'll work with him enough. Like we're trying to build him into the team, invest him in, suit and tie, like manager after the game kind of like chat. I love that.
One of those classic kind of post America tours when they do that, like we haven't had enough time to work and all that. A classic line from us. You know, he's a real manager when he drops lines like that.
He's got the football cliches down.
We're running out of time. Quickly before we go to a quick break, really quickly, Jake, just quickly, who do you think the joker of the group is?
Shafi. It's fantastic to laugh at him.
Not with him?
Mate, if I have to see another shitty cock in my life, I swear to God, I hate that boy for that. Never, I get livid at him every time I see it. Every time.
I think Enzo's come to an agreement now that he's going to kick him every time he posts one of those. Good. But it's not going to stop him. It's not going to stop him. And finally, who would you say, you have no way of knowing this, but who would you say is longest in the shower?
Me. 100% me. I'll get you my girlfriend to tell you as well if you really aren't sure. But I think if you're discounting me, I reckon Wildry's got some length in the shower. I reckon.
I'm really like. I think this question has been misinterpreted, like massively.
Oh no! I think Wildry just takes ages in the shower. I think he's really long in the shower. I think Shanu and Wildry could be the longest in the shower after me.
Lovely. We'll leave the viewers with that mental image, and we'll be right back after this.
Wrap you in his arms, tell you